so many guys even available tonight. Is there a conversation or collective mindset of the guys coming in off the bench, just in terms of the recognition of the punch and sustain minutes that you need to have tonight?
I mean, for sure, I think we all have the same mentality. It's like everybody got to be ready to play. You never know when your name's going to get called. And obviously we had a couple guys down, and we needed a lot of guys to just step up tonight, and I think we did a great job at that.
You're obviously someone focusing on team success for yourself, a career high, closing out this game on the road, a final dream match, a big stage. What was this like for you, this whole experience?
I mean, it was great. So today was my grandma's birthday, and she passed a year ago, so it was a little special for me coming into the night, and I thought of her this whole night, so I was pretty happy we got to win, and I played that way.
Salut Jay, en français. Je voulais savoir, est-ce qu'il y a eu des discussions sur le fait de prendre les clés du camion sur la deuxième unité? C'est toi qui beaucoup qui crée, et quand Jay n'est pas sur le terrain, c'est toi qui prends les responsabilités. Comment tu vois ça?
D'une part mes coéquipiers, je pense depuis le début de la saison, ils m'ont toujours dit quand je rentre d'être agressif et d'avoir confiance et de créer. Et puis juste personnellement voir ce que l'équipe a besoin. Et je pense qu'aujourd'hui on avait besoin de création et c'est ce que je voulais faire. Donc tout ce que je dois faire pour aider l'équipe, c'est les choses les plus importantes, et aujourd'hui c'est ce que je devais faire.
You told us after the last game that you weren't easing into the season, you wanted to come out aggressive from the start. What's just giving you the confidence to be able to play so aggressively so early on the season?
I mean, my teammates and the coaching staff, obviously, since the beginning of the year, just tell me to be confident in being aggressive. And then just me personally, just knowing that when I go out there, I got to be aggressive and I gotta make plays and never force anything, but got to be aggressive.
How much are you feeling that added strength that you put on this offseason show up so early?
I definitely feel it. That was one of the main focus. And I mean, I'm glad we put in that work, but obviously we got a long season, so I'm gonna keep working on that and just keep getting better and stronger.
Mark mentioned pre-game, he was asked about your game against Houston, and he says, we're not really surprised what you can do. But then post-game, he kind of referenced the fact that perhaps, if anything, the impressive thing is not being overawed, being in a moment like that. Were you feeling as calm as what you looked when you could get to the basket and then you hit the first free throw, then they call the timeout, and you have to go back out there? What's sort of going through your mind?
I mean, I feel like every time I'm out there, I'm just playing basketball. I've been playing basketball since I was a little baby, so it doesn't really matter the stage. I just go out there and hoop and have fun, and obviously just the confidence that my teammates and coaches give me every single night makes it really easy for me to just go out there and just think about being aggressive, doing the right thing, and having fun.
Obviously seeing Shai do it for a year, but this time you're out there for a large part of the night and as a career high. What did you see, and what was it like for you being on the floor in a historic night?
I mean, it was fun. Obviously, when you get that opportunity, it's always a big opportunity, and I'm glad I got it. And obviously, when you get that opportunity, you just got to go take it, play the right way, be aggressive, and I'm glad I did that.
Shai gave you a long hug after the game. Can you share what was said between you two?
I mean, it was just, I think we had two overtimes, 2 games, so just like way to play. Thank God we got that win, and you're a pretty good basketball player. So it was cool to have that moment with him, and then obviously just seeing the trust that he put in myself, and me being able to just go out there and make plays with him on the court too was pretty fun. We just got to keep building and getting better.
You mentioned your grandmother. Just how important was she to you, and so that was part of where you are right now, like as to get to this point?
I mean, very important. Obviously, she was always there for me, and I mean, yeah, she was definitely on my mind this whole night, and it was. I mean, I'm glad I got to play that way for her, and I mean, yeah, she means the world to me, so I'm glad I did that.
Bit of a different question, but Shai mentioned after the last game that he was doing his pre-draft stuff at UC. Did you hear about that Has he told you that before? What was your reaction when you first heard that?
Yeah.
He was hearing about you.
Yeah, no. So there was when I first got to OKC. One of the first conversation we had with Chet was like, he was like, I think I saw you in Santa Barbara when I was doing my pre-draft, and I was like, yeah, I remember. So it was a cool moment just to obviously see his work during pre-draft, but then now, like, it's crazy that we're on the same team. So it was a pretty cool moment.
To have other people singing your praises, they were telling him like, hey, there's this guy here, has what it takes to get to that next level. Just what does that mean to you to, have other people talk about, what you're doing, the work you're putting in?
I mean, it's always cool. I try to not really focus on the outside noise. It's more, what can I do to just be a better player, and that's within the team, and that's really what I'm focused on. Obviously, it's great to have those types of compliments, but I just got to stay focused and keep working and getting better.
Mardi, tu as reçu ta bague de champion, la première pour la Belgique évidemment. À quel point tu es fier d'être un précurseur?
Très fier, évidemment, juste pouvoir représenter mon pays tous les soirs, et le fait d'avoir une bague de champion, c'est quand même un truc incroyable pour un jeune Belge. Et donc c'est super de pouvoir faire ça, mais il faut encore travailler. Je pense que maintenant aussi avec Toumani, on a l'opportunité de vraiment représenter la Belgique d'ici, et c'est vraiment cool de voir ça, et de voir aussi son évolution. Et on va continuer à travailler et faire ça pour le pays.
Justement, il a signé son extension de contrat. Je suppose que, à quel point vous êtes proches et à quel point vous parlez pendant la saison?
On est assez proches. Évidemment, à chaque fois qu'on est à Portland ou qu'on est à OKC, on parle. J'étais vraiment content pour lui. Je pense que c'était mérité, évidemment. Et ça fait plaisir de voir qu'il continue à évoluer et qu'il a pu signer ce contrat. Donc, très content pour lui.
Tu as parlé de SG aussi. Il y a on va dire aura, mais gravité sur le terrain. Est-ce que tu sens que ça t'ouvre des lignes de drive, etc., quand il est sur le parquet avec toi aussi?
Ouais, c'est sûr. La défense est tellement concentrée sur lui quand il est sur le terrain que pour moi et pour d'autres joueurs, ça nous donne beaucoup d'opportunités d'attaquer et de trouver des espaces. Donc c'est vraiment cool de pouvoir jouer avec un gars comme ça.
Et petite question avec Lou et Ous, ça parle français, ça s'organise des trucs entre francophones?
Bien sûr, on parle toujours français. On parle tout le temps un peu de tout et n'importe quoi dans le vestiaire. Et ça fait vraiment plaisir de pouvoir parler ma langue maternelle avec ces deux gars-là, et on rigole beaucoup.
Et ce soir avec Ben, ça a un peu changé ou pas?
Non, même pas. Ben, évidemment, c'est un très bon joueur. Ça chambrait pas. Évidemment, il y a de la compétition, mais c'est juste du basket.
Thank you.
Perfect.
What's up, guys?
You guys had to dig up as a team for the last couple games to go this many minutes and to come away with the win both times.
Yeah, different guys stepping up. A lot of guys that stepped up tonight didn't even play that much last game. And obviously we're a little banged up, but this team never makes excuses. It's always ready for their moment. We saw guys step into the light and make big plays.
AJ said it's so easy to play alongside you, off of you. What have you felt out there on the floor with him as he goes for a career night tonight?
Yeah, he's just a really good basketball player. Like his feel for the game is what jumps out right away. He just understands how to play. He's just it's almost like when you're playing with them, it's like pickup game. He doesn't need a play call for him. He doesn't need too much structure. He just goes out there, figures out a way, makes the right basketball play, plays hard, and wins. So yeah, he right back at him. He makes it easy for me.
James, how are you feeling physically after these 2 games?
I'm tired, but it's expected, and I'm it's a good way to break the ice on the season, shake the rust off, kind of bust the lungs out, get my cardio back. So yeah, it's not ideal, 4 extra overtimes in 2 games, but we'll take it. 2 W's.
You looking for contact tonight, welcoming in. Obviously, you talked about letting the game come to you. With a game like this, where the officiating is being called closely, just how are you able to adjust to that and capitalize on that?
Yeah, I was just aggressive downhill. This team pressures a lot. Notorious for that. And I was getting fouled. They were fouling me. And I was just taking advantage of it. No different than any other night. Like I attack. I'm always going downhill. That's probably number one on my scouting report. And I was just being aggressive. Obviously, having a lot of guys out, knew I had to put my aggressive foot forward, and I wanted to do so tonight, and did enough.
It's because we were down 5 in the first overtime. It's game 2, just playing double overtime. Yeah, I think Mark kind of mentioned could have almost taken foot off the gas there and not went for it. Why did you guys just sort of want to continue to win this game? Just get why hang in and not sort of take a longer ball approach with this?
Yeah, I think this team does a really good job of like two things, like being in the moment and understanding that we're down 5. It's like 3 minutes left. It's a lot of time left, and then also understanding like the beginning of the season is just as important as the end of the season. The difference in home court advantage in the playoffs could be one game and one win. And we know firsthand home court in the playoffs is very helpful, especially when you go 7 games. So like we don't ever want to take an opportunity for granted. We were in the spot to go get a game in overtime. We were down a little bit, but we had plenty of time left, and we just we stuck in the moment and did whatever it took to win.
You had a chance to close it out at the end of regulation and that first overtime. You can see you shaking your head as you're heading to the bench each time there. Just what's going through your mind during those moments, and how are you able to shake that off and then ultimately close it out in double?
Yeah, I'm going to get it right eventually. Fortunately, I've had a few chances in these first 2 games. But, yeah, just like missing things I usually make. But it's a game of basketball. It's not always going to go your way. So I look at the moments in their face and adjust, and then move on to the next play, try to be better for the next play, next overtime, next whatever it is. And I did enough tonight. I did enough of that tonight to get a W.
It's interesting hearing you talk about that. Missing some shots that you think you would normally make 55 points as a career high. I asked Mark, at your age, and players like you always think that you can get better and they're always finding ways to get better. What do you see that is for you? Because you're already at, obviously the level you're at.
Yeah, I think it's more of like once you get to a certain skill set, it's more of like a mental thing and more of like a manipulation of the game and like controlling a game, where the growth comes in. Like a lot of coaches talk about playing against guys like Rondo back in the day and how they used to like almost be the coach playing against a coach, like knowing their plays and things like that. So I think like that's where the growth really comes in once you get to a certain level and skill set. And you can always learn as a basketball player. The game is always evolving. There's always new ways to attack things and always new ways to attack. So I would be silly to think that I'm done learning.
I don't know if this is you're talking, or you're probably not talking specifically about the fouls and what you were talking about before, feeling that they were being aggressive defensively, so you could maybe take advantage of that. But I was sort of thinking about that with the Durant foul the other night. How have you learned, and how does it sort of happen in your head, whether it's you sense a defense that you can take advantage of with that contact, or it's instinct in the moment in the basketball game?
Yeah, honestly, like I play, and then if they stop something, I have a few counters. And if they stop those, I have a few more counters. And then usually by then, the shot's either up or not, and then we go the other way. So like that's all that happens. Like I either drive, I shoot this shot, or if I can sense that they're antsy, I pump fake. And then if they don't jump, now I know they're not jumping. Now I can shoot the shot anyways. So it's just like a game inside the game. Every possession down, and I typically know the defense's tendencies and how aggressive certain guys are, how disciplined certain guys are, and I know how to go about it.
Is there any type of weird satisfaction or, from a scoring perspective of seeing how frustrated they get? Because tonight you could see that they knew perhaps what was coming and they weren't able to stop themselves.
Absolutely. I feel like that part of it is like me winning the mental battles that I was just talking about. Like when in my rookie year, like Lou Will used to always say, there's a game inside of a game, and winning that is where you separate yourself. And I've just like taken that and ran with it and try to really hone in on that. And yeah, done a pretty good job of it so far.
We're going to go last one to Steve, then we got to get going, guys. Shai, instead of handshakes and high fives with your teammates afterwards, you were hugging them and saying some words to them. Was it hugs after an exhausting win and like say thank you with your teammates?
Yeah, it was more just like the first one was to AJ just because he played so well. I was proud of him. Like, he was hurt to end the season last year. And like, I know what he's capable of, and didn't really get to show it to finish out his season. And then for his opportunity to come and for him to take advantage of it tonight the way he did. Like, I was struggling late in the fourth and into the early overtime, and he was like carrying us, and really like took us over the edge. And I just think like I was just like overjoyed for him. And then after that, it was just like I was tired. I needed to be held up.
Thank you, Shai.
Mark, you guys once again got one out. What you notice from your team tonight? Maybe nothing different than what you normally do, but did anything stand out about the way that you all handled this?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, first of all, I thought the bench, we had minutes under control after a long minute game against Houston. And if it didn't obviously go to double overtime again, we would have been in a good spot because of the way our bench played tonight. I thought those guys went in there. Oos, Brooks, BC gave us a couple minutes. Youngblood made a shot and played some good minutes. Obviously, AJ. Those guys were big time for us. And then just a gutsy win. I mean, those guys were exhausted. So was Indiana. Yeah, it's easy to, when we went down 5 in the first overtime, it's easy to kind of say, hey, we'll get the next one. And these guys are just so competitive. So I was just so impressed with the guts of the team.
You helped make sure that you didn't get one, but you had no turnovers in the fourth quarter and the 2 overtimes. What went into just the efficiency in that aspect of the game?
Yeah, I thought we were just a little bit sloppy and not sharp. Some of that might have been fatigue. Some of that's Indiana and their pressure. Credit them. They played a great game. Those guys made really tough shots down the stretch of the game, especially. But we were sloppy for a good part of the meat of the game, and we did tighten up. As the game came down the stretch, and we made sure we got shots on goal, simplified the offense a little bit, and the guys did a really good job executing.
What's Shai's role in that? I mean, obviously, a historic 55-point night is a career night, but to be able to be that sound with the ball too.
Yeah, one of the most efficient things about Shai is not just the scoring efficiency, but he doesn't turn the ball over very much. He's a great ball control player, so you get a shot. More often than not when he's on it. And he was obviously brilliant tonight and had to gut out. He played however many minutes the other night and then turned around tonight and played 45. That's hard to do. And he and Lou was guarding Siakam down the stretch. He was in his 40s again. Like I said, just a really gutsy performance by the team.
How did you scoring that for Chet, but was battling on the glass? I mean, those little plays like that, how much did that really add up for you guys?
Yeah, the huge offensive rebound there at the end. And then, he's one of those guys. I mean, he's didn't play his best game tonight, but you still want him on the court just because of his competitiveness and his impact. And he's still growing and learning, and he's probably frustrated with some of the plays tonight. But we'd rather have him out there, even if he's imperfect.
Well, with that, you went to big man lineup in the overtime. How did you like that matchup?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
You went with 2 bigs in the overtime. How did you like that matchup against an Indiana team who has no center on the court?
Yeah, I mean, we were double big a lot of the night. Some of that was so we could get Jay Wilson minutes. We started Wiggins in both overtimes, and Wiggins he really delivered in the second overtime. He made 2 big threes and was really ready to go. But it shuts off the rim. It helps us on the glass. There's a lot of reasons to do it, but we need to be flexible and do a lot of different things. I thought the guys did a great job of adapting to whatever we did tonight.
Makes sense for the game. I'm really surprised at some of the stuff that AJ's been able to do. The job he's done tonight, these first two games, just sort of stand out to you, or that he's been able to have so much success.
Yeah, the play is not surprising to us because like I said, we've seen it, and his teammates, everybody has a lot of trust in him and his talent. I think the steadiness, in these two environments. The first night was the opener with the ring ceremony. That place was live the other night. That was kind of a tough game to play in mentally, and then tonight is our first road game in a great road environment. And in both games, he didn't really blink. So we knew, the talent and impact. But sometimes it takes guys a little bit. They seem a little wide-eyed, and that was not the case for him in either of these first two games.
He obviously doesn't become such a well-rounded player like that without putting in the work. Just how would you describe him behind the scenes in practices?
AJ? Yeah, same thing as the rest of the guys, but great worker, attacks the program, totally professional, steady emotionally. For a young guy, he doesn't get up or down. Great teammate. He's got all the intangibles that you want. And so does the rest of our team, and that's I think what makes the team have such a great collaboration together is because they're very like-minded. But he fits right in.
Just a team that had to play multiple double overtime games, just first right off the bat to start the season. How are you guys feeling at this point, mentally, physically? I'm tired.
I feel fine. I haven't played a minute, so we're tired though. I thought that was evident tonight. Indiana was tired. Even just that game in a vacuum. This was their opener. That was a hard game, So, yeah, we're pretty tired, and we're obviously a little banged up too. But you never know which part of the NBA season you're going to have to endure, and obviously that's hitting us right off the bat. But we've got a lot of guys we trust. We'll put the work in to get the recovery done. We'll be responsible with the team, and we'll keep chipping away.
What does it look like? All the great players always have the same attitude that they want to get better and better. And Shai's 27, you pointed to the efficiency already, and then how he takes care of the ball. How does he get better? How would you even describe that for a guy like him and where he's at right now?
He's just touching up the edges, but it's more of it's a mindset, more than anything. He is thinking constantly about how he can get better. He's constantly self-reflecting. He's constantly self-critical. And you could watch him and say, man, there's really not a lot to go from here. But that mindset, I think speaks to a level of humility that you need in competition. He just doesn't get over his feet at all, mentally. There's a humility to that. And, he's certainly thinks there's a lot of things he can improve on, and there are. But I think what's more impressive is the mindset, despite his success, is he's always looking for every little edge.
I was watching Dort, you mentioned, guarding Pascal, particularly late in the game, he's probably tired. How much do those two guys help each other? I know going back to the finals, Lou told me he was the only guy who had the recipe to stop Shai. I'm not sure if you agree with that when you said he didn't practice, but how much do they help?
Yeah, he and Shai, that's a beautiful relationship at this point. They've been together. They got here the same year. The first year, they were kind of young guys on that bubble team. And then they've been together, and started together for, 5 seasons, 6 seasons, So that's a really long time. That's a lot of games. And their relationship's only gotten better as time's gone on. And sometimes that's not the case when you have that many emotional games with a teammate, and so they're two great people that have had a great collaboration here, obviously.
We talked again about international coaches. There is 135 international players on the NBA roster right now. There were 9 in the final last year. Do you maybe scout more players internationally right now than maybe 5 or 10 years ago?
I don't. Sam does all of our scouting. He handles all of that. But Sam's been, on that trend for a long time. He was in San Antonio as assistant GM, and they were, drafting Ginobili and Parker and all those guys. He was a part of those groups. So, we scout the whole world. Our guys work really hard, just like every team at this point.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
Yep.